Just cancel the midnight like that big orange guy. Take away their friends and take away their every lie. We'll make ourselves look way better, as long as all the girls stick together. No.
You can't have regrets for the bad things that happen to you. They're just as important as the good things. I've learned way more from my mistakes than I have from my success. I said Hollywood would die the day I pulled out of town.
We're good. You got your seatbelt on? Seatbelts? Seatbelts!
We're gonna find out just how mentally healthy this country is over these next few years. Maybe few months. Shit. I just don't think there's time in life to hold a grudge. You gotta get through it, move through it, figure it out, look for something fun to do. But don't ever miss an opportunity to call someone out for being a dick. I wasn't the one who started this bullshit, but I will do what it takes to end it. If you're a person like me, who grew up in an abusive household where there was a lot of gaslighting and drinking and just that dramatic chaos, you can only deal with so much lying, twisting of the narrative, changing of the story, not accepting that what we just saw with our eyes and heard with our ears is not happening. That destroys a person's soul. It destroys a person inside. And I think really handicaps them. And we need to start talking more about the things that are going to get us back to acceptance, communication, dating. The relationships between men and women have never been worse. Now, maybe they're good in some families and some places, but let's be honest. When you have to balance who you're seeing, what you're doing, what's going on, we got to keep a secret, we got to treat a certain person a certain way. When the wife says this is how it's going to be, no questions, no discussion, guys, you know, you just do it. You say, okay. It doesn't happen often. In fact, it happens far less often the other way, where the husband says, this is just the way it's going to be. Now, they might tell you that it happens far more often, but come on, fellas. We know that when we do that, it's just about very basic, straightforward stuff. Like we're not putting gasoline in the diesel can. We're not installing that backwards because we want it right now. We're not going to do that because I have to lift things twice and my back hurts. But when our wives, when they say, this is the way it's going to be, and you're going to listen, you're going to conform, let's be honest. We're obligated to say, okay, I'll take one for the team. We've all done it. Everybody has. But here's the deal. This time around, it was a mistake. The Me Too movement was a political operation and kind of a mistake. If we don't flip this back the other direction, start finding some closure and some healing and some discussion and some other reasons like why maybe not all men who might have supported Trump need to be erased from society, we might start getting back quicker. So I'm going to try to take this in a whole new direction. We're going to do this more like therapy, because I think many of the experiences that I've had can help so many people. I know this is true because every time I have these discussions and tell these stories around people who understand human emotion and what's happening and all of the lunacy and kind of what we're still seeing, everybody who gets it agrees with me. I've never had anybody not agree with me on any of this stuff. Well, I've had a couple people, but they just always are the ones who disagree on everything. There's many people who would just like you to see a reality that they have made up in their head, and they just want you to accept. I do have to admit that I'm quite flattered that I was felt to be so important to the cause of the Democrat Party or the country as a whole, that canceling me for supporting Trump, for not changing my perspective, for not conforming to the modern narrative that must be taken, that must be accepted no matter what at all costs, that many of you just decided, okay, I guess we have to sacrifice him. We have to throw him away. And heck, I think my ex-wife might even have said, if I can't have him, nobody can. Well, you've succeeded because nobody can have me now because I am officially ruined when it comes to dating. That's how deep the betrayal goes. I was close, had a good relationship with all my friends' wives, many wives from all walks. I was the guy who helped in the kitchen when all the guys were outside pretending to do work just smoking cigarettes behind the garage. You hated me for different reasons, didn't you? You hated me because things came easy, because I got it. I don't think that's very fair. I think you think that's not very fair. But I also think that's why you want to continue with the division and the isolation and the no communication rule and the no commenting, no discussion, no come back at you. But all of you who agreed to go along with that, or at least conform to just not communicating with me for fear of, I don't know, being canceled yourself? For all of you who didn't want to do that, didn't feel like it was fair, but really had no option because what else are you going to do? You got to go with the crowd. You got to go with the tribe or else you might be kicked out of the tribe. Did you all think about my kids? Did anybody think about my children? That's the question. That's all I was thinking about the entire time. And sure, some might say, well, if you were really thinking about your kids, you wouldn't have got remarried so quickly. That's not actually true. My kids loved my second wife. I'd probably still get back together with her if it wasn't so much chaos. My story is going to help us understand what happened and why. And I hope it's going to give us all a really good reason to look at this, analyze it, get through it, and start putting back some pieces to just get back at living. I don't need you to be my friend. That's not why I'm upset about anything. In fact, I'm not even really upset. What I'm upset with is how much lost time there's been, how much wasted money, how much anger and drama and BS we've all been through just to eliminate one man. And I'm not talking about me, I'm talking about President Trump. I don't think he's as bad of a man as everybody makes him out to be. But anyway, I don't think any of this is going to go away until he's out of office and we're years past this. So it doesn't really matter what I think about Trump anymore. I'd preferably like to see somebody back in office who just makes everybody turn their shit back around and get over it. But I don't think that's going to happen either. So really the only option is that we move forward and start having discussions about what kind of damage we've caused going through what we've had to go through. Maybe we'll see some prosecutions and we'll watch the whole story unfold about how it's weaponization of the DOJ and it's totally ludicrous that we have a king in office prosecuting people and destroying people's lives. The more that happens, the harder it's going to be for every single one of you guys who just decided to look the other way as you watched families get destroyed. People commit suicide. Elderly people get abused and harmed to eliminate people from families. Every single one of you is complicit if you just stood by and said, okay, I'll just go along with it. This isn't about me. What happened to me, I came from a toxic, shitty family. I thought I'd found a great one that had at least some form of stability. But even the most stable looking, great patriarch/matriarch, whatever you want to call it, families, even the best ones just have people that screw up. I've got my part. My fingerprints are on every inch of what happened to our family. But so is everybody else's. And so are the decisions of many other people. And no, we're not going to look back on all those decisions and try to blame so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so. I have no defamation cases I want to file. I have no grievances I want to pick with anybody for anything that happened throughout the last decade of my cancellation and whatever was done. I think the majority of it probably came from my second wife's sister, who right from the beginning hated me because I didn't show her enough attention at my own wedding. Because everybody knows that if your girlfriends don't support the husband, they don't support the boyfriend, that boyfriend's as good as gone or done. And those girls will do whatever they need to do in order to destroy that man. That is modern dating. That is modern relationships. Some cities, I think it's worse than others. Some cities, it's more polarized than others. But that's what it is. We have taught a generation of women that all you have to do to eliminate a man, just accuse him of something horrible. Say something happened when it didn't happen. You can all but destroy a person's life now with that. So since we've taught a generation now of kids that it's just okay to lie, swindle, cheat, scam, say whatever you need to get whatever you want, we need to decide if we want to continue down that road and continue just allowing that to be our way of life. And everybody who likes to operate in the safer, tell the truth, have moral compasses that are calibrated, live with a little honor and respect, will be split into tribes for essentially the rest of time. Just think how long we'll be tribalized if that's the direction we go. Accountability and acceptance is difficult for a lot of people. I've seen people literally choose alcohol, suicide, and death over admitting that they're wrong or that what they did affected somebody else negatively. There are some people that it is just not in the cards. Everybody has one of those in the family, I'm sure. Maybe those are your conservative family members. Maybe they're some of your more liberal family members. We all have our grievances, we all have our problems, we all have our skeletons. But if we don't fix this one, or at least figure out how, or attempt through some sort of communication and dialogue and start getting this narrative kind of pushed in the other direction, there's really only one way to go from here. I don't think any of us want to be there because it doesn't matter how big your 401k is or how much money you have or what you have that you might lose. If we go too far down the road of just total destruction, the fabric of society, our culture is erased, life will not be what you project it to be. Life will not continue to exist as how you know it. And maybe you're like me where you like life to kind of cease existing as it is right now and change back over to some semblance of interaction. Respect for everyone. A feeling that your community is your community. Right now, it feels like we're all just sort of isolated in our houses still. Yeah, there's a few things going on out there, I think, but for the most part, there's zero communication. I used to have hundreds of texts and phone calls, touching base and talking to so many people, checking in, seeing if people need help. That was my life. Now it's no more. So was it me that you wanted gone because of that? Or really was it we had a woman cry wolf because there was a decision that was made that she didn't like? And to stop the cancellation once it starts, it's almost impossible because you'd have to accept that cancel culture even exists in order to stop it, right? It takes a long time for a cancel to spread, to malignantly grow among an entire community. I don't want to make this about politics. I'm not going to make this about politics at all. This is all about the communication issues and the relationship issues that men and women are seeing right now. It's happening everywhere. Everybody asked for a divorce. Some of them are kind of upset that they got one. Men and women are not dating anymore. And it's getting worse every day. Let's figure out why. I sure as shit would like to have a partner at some point in my life again. Until we end this, and I see it in society, I see it acted out on social media, on television, that it's understood we're past this point, we're growing past this point, nothing's going to change. I will not even consider dating until we get to that point. It's just too dangerous. I guess it's probably going to keep a lot more people married. I know some married people who are probably very happy, like, okay, here we are. We got our spouses. Let's turn off the dating pool forever now. So everybody who is married is going to stay married. They're just going to become a lot more unhappy. I mean, I think everybody's, for the most part, just a little more unhappy today than they were maybe 10 years ago. And if not, more power to you. I think you're doing great. I mean, I'm saying some of the stuff that needs to be said out loud, and I'm giving everybody an opportunity that you can chime in and help out. And I know there's some super smart people around here that can help out too. Don't be afraid.